big bilge tank. We'll keep you in the know in the big bilge tank. We'll fix your techie woes and we'll break things and we'll make things so we're all together raking and we'll raise a cup of grog down in the big bilge tank. In the big bilge tank. Come and join our pirate crew in the big bilge tank.
We'll show you what to do.
And we'll hack it till we crack it and we'll tell the world about it and forget to tidy up. That's why it's now a bilge tank.
Hello, and welcome to Bilge Tank
88 miles an hour.
88.
Back to the future.
Today we're going to be talking about the new, two-week-old IKEA TRÅDFRI lighting system.
So IKEA released, finally kind of put their hat in the ring for home automation and said, hey, here's what we're going to do. And we're going to take a look at it, and it's been rather successful kind of making the Pi integrate with it. You've kind of spent a week or two hacking.
Yeah, I think within a day, I think, of it being released, there was about 6 or 12 different Python.
Yeah, I mean, technically
libraries.
it was actually out in Belgium and not Germany, Belgium and Switzerland or something like that.
And the US.
Sweden, obviously.
Yeah.
Since October, so I think
Really?
some people got a head start. Yeah, that's the market they used to try it out.
Right. Yeah, USA was a few days before the UK, I think. So not as soon as Sweden. And yeah, that's interesting. So what does it use? Why was this so easy to get working? Relatively.
So basically the bulbs and the hub use Zigbee, which is a 2.4 gigahertz wireless communication system.
Yep.
So you can actually buy little Zigbee kind of like boards. I think
it gets used for everything, doesn't it? Yeah.
Do we sell them? I don't know if we actually sell them, but they're quite popular for kind of doing stuff with Arduino and things like that.
Yeah, it's one of the two really leading communication technology in IoT. Most are Zigbee, some are Z-Wave, but a lot. For example, the Philips use Zigbee. This uses it.
So this is basically how the bulbs and the remote controls and things like the motion detectors communicate with the hub.
Yep.
The hub itself is connected. It has 2 wires coming out of it. This one is power, and it's just a micro USB. Let's open it up and have a look inside.
Crack that over there on the close up there. Sweet.
Um,
Okay, that's a lot of coiled cable.
Yeah.
That's mostly air.
It's quite weird. It feels really like when you get it and it's like that and it's all closed up and you lift it up and you think there's nothing in this. It's just fresh air inside it.
I mean, on the other end, there's kind of a cable tie-in, which I quite like.
So
if, like me, you have loads of stuff on your desk, having the ability to kind of hide a bit of
it's quite handy. So you've got your Ethernet jack and you've got micro USB power. They give you a micro USB to USB lead and a little plug adapter thing. So the cables all kind of coil round there. The lid goes back on. It's slightly fiddly to get the lid back on.
With the cables.
You have to get everything lined up just right. But then it kind of rotates and clicks in.
Yep.
And you can see you've got the status LEDs for the network connection. I think that's for the remote pairing, the middle one. And then you've got the power LED as well.
So does it do Wi-Fi as well, or just Ethernet?
Just Ethernet.
Okay.
So that's the hub. On the bottom it's got people are going to totally hack us now.
We do let people on our network very freely.
Yeah.
Well, they can just do a still, don't they?
So you can see it's got a QR code which you can use with the iPhone and Android app.
Yep.
To kind of pair the dock. The QR code is basically just the MAC address of the hub. So you can see that they've called that serial number, but that's the MAC address. The security code is just the key.
We'll do like Keith Moon and the end of the show, we're going to destroy it.
Yeah. Just destroy it with something home automation related, I don't know, an ore.
So basically to talk to the hub, you need two things. You need the IP address. So to find that, you can get an app like, there's a really good app called Fing, and that basically just scans your network that your phone's connected to.
It'll try and identify all the devices on your network.
So it gives you all the device names, it gives you the MAC addresses, the IP addresses, and it's really good.
Yeah, that's Fing, F-I-N-G, if you're looking for it.
We're not just speaking all London like, and we got this Fing. Yeah. See if I'm bringing it up now, actually.
Yeah, so
you carry on.
Get the IP address, and then you need the security key that's on the bottom of it as well. Some of the apps actually like search the DNS to kind of like automatically identify it without the IP address. So one of the HomeKit plugins actually does it that way, but I think all of the other ones you actually need the IP address.
Yep. So there's Fing is showing me everything that's on the network here, which is just great. We're not going to show it in the close up because that's maybe a little more of a hacking challenge than we want to give out to people.
So that's the hub. So then basically let's actually get the lights and mind your head, Rogue. Swing that round. Yeah, so we've got two lights here that are connected. Whoa, nice. Slightly.
I'm that good.
You're using the remote there, yeah?
So I'm using the remote here. Now there are a few different ways you can do this. You can do it with the iPhone app, in which case you basically pair with the hub. Then through the app you add the remote, and that's kind of the first step. So you add the remote by holding it close to the hub, and then pressing the power button for about 5 seconds. And then it'll pair. You'll see the light on the hub flashing. I'm not going to do that because it's all paired already.
Yeah, but it just does it based on signal strength, presumably then.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's like proximity type thing.
Or you can do the Android app as well, but that's kind of boring. We don't want to do it that way.
Yep.
That's not very hacky.
So you do that, and then you take the remote, and in the iPhone app you say add a bulb, and it'll tell you to hold the remote near the bulb, and then press it again for 5 seconds, and that'll add the bulb in. You can do it without the iPhone app by just holding the remote near the bulb, and then doing the same thing, pressing it for.
I think this within 5 centimeters, but I think up to 10 will be fine. So if you get in a situation where you can't really get that close for whatever reason.
So I was saying power button there. I meant pairing button. So if you pop the back just pops off, and then there's a little button as well as the coin cell battery. There's a little switch there to pair it.
This is why suddenly IKEA reduced the price of coin cells. It all makes sense now.
Well, they're actually just next to the aisle.
Yeah.
It's, as you might have heard last week, I did the shopping. So,
yeah.
In fact, in the shop, they're not that easy to find. You'd think that they do a great deal about that. Of course, it is in the lighting section.
Yeah.
But there's no advertising as such. I had really to look for them.
Yeah. Before there was not a lot of point to them, and it was suddenly the price of them went to about a third of what it was before at IKEA. And this is why.
Oh, you mean the coin? No, I actually mean to find the light in the shop. The range.
New things.
You'd think they'd do a bit more, kind of
new things get shoved in
a
corner until they're established. It's the same with the hydroponics and the same with the pegboard they've just launched. It just gets shoved in a random corner.
Yep.
For intrepid adventurers like us to find. Anyway.
As well as the remote, there is also the motion sensor, so that's basically just a PIR that communicates again the same way as the remote does with the hub. The back of that pops off as well, so it's got a back on it. You pop it off, and it's got the pairing button. The battery lives in there, and then it's got two little dials that you can either set it to like day and night mode or just night mode. So basically, just like, if it's in night mode, then it won't switch the lights on during the day. They'll only come on at night time when it's triggered. There's also a little kind of time dial, and that's to set how long the lights stay on for after they've been triggered.
Okay. But you
so-
don't set the sensitivity of the actual PIR sensor.
No, I think it's.
It's just automatic.
I don't know if it's. Yeah, I think
that would be that.
I think
Okay,
it's
that's-
just kind of day or night mode.
Okay.
Oh, it's just two settings.
settings.
Is it?
Yeah, two
it's
settings.
not continuous.
I think so. I don't think so. It feels just like it kind of clicks back and forth.
All right.
Gotcha. It's got
Um,
detent.
I've not tried that yet, so
Yeah.
I'm not certain about that.
Anyway, let's get to the bit where
um,
we hack it.
Yeah. So
Which are the bits we're grabbing hold of?
let's let's so the remote, what it lets you do is switch them on and off. So that's the middle button. It lets you, once they're switched on, you can use the arrows on either side to cycle through different colour temperatures. So this is the kind of really warm one. That's
4,000.
yeah 4,000 Kelvin.
Mm.
You've got the mid one that's kind of like a
It's a mixture between the two. Yeah, I think the voltage
probably 3,000.
is about half for the 2200 compared to 4,000.
So it's
in
probably
the
a-
natural kind of.
That's probably 3,200, 3,500, something like
Probably
that.
something like that.
And then you've got the cool one, which is kind of like daylight, and I guess it's like
2200.
2,200 Kelvin, yeah.
Yep.
And you've also got the kind of dimming as well, so you can dim it up and down. Right, so let's switch them off again now. So, how do you hack these? So, the hub uses a thing called COAP, so that's Constrained Application Protocol, and it's basically pretty much HTTP.
It's HTTP for robots, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a really stripped down version of HTTP.
What
And
do
it-
you mean?
It has a RESTful kind of interface with it as well. So that's
So-
your
I press that. That's just wireless to there. But then, are the bulbs? Is the hub talking COAP to these?
Yes, so you
Yep.
have a
Yep.
Zigbee chip. It's
Yep.
all the same in the range. It's in the FR32.
Okay.
So each of these, including the bulbs, will have one of these chip.
yeah.
So this will
But
talk
I
to the
press
hub,
that-
and then the hub will talk to the
So
bulbs.
that calls basically a COAP endpoint or web page, effectively,
Yep,
and says it calls the one that says power on, power off,
exactly, yeah.
on, off,
Yep.
and then that calls the web page of these that says do this or do that.
Yep. There's a bunch of different endpoints that do various different things. So each bulb has its own endpoint. If you have more than one bulb, they'll be in a group, and that group also has a separate endpoint that controls both together. And within each bulb or group, you have endpoints for the kind of power or brightness level from 0 to 255, and then you have on and off, and you have the colour temperature slightly confusing in that you've inside the bulb it has alternating cool and warm white LEDs.
Yeah, you tweeted some, didn't you?
Yes, I opened my thing there. But there is a web page we can post later on where
Okay.
someone has opened a bulb, so you can
Yeah.
see. But essentially, they're in a crown and alternating the 2200 and
So
4000.
one strip is this end of the spectrum, one strip is this end of the spectrum,
Yep.
and then it just varies their brightness to where you want to appear
Yep.
on that spectrum.
So
Okay.
so basically there are two different parameters that control each set of LEDs and the brightness of each set, and by mixing them in various different amounts, you can alter the colour temperature. The cool white ones don't have as much of an effect on the overall colour temperature as the warm ones do. So basically, if you have them at full brightness and then reduce them all the way down to the lowest setting, then you won't really see all that much change in the colour temperature. The warm ones have much more of an effect over that.
Yep.
So it's basically by mixing those two parameters that you can specify what the colour temperature is.
Yep.
There's also an endpoint where you can provide it with a hex colour for the colour temperature as well, and that's obviously a bit simpler than kind of playing with the two separate parameters.
So shall we start looking at what your tutorial and what's going on the Pi?
Yep. So yeah, so the COAP, there is a thing called libcoap, which is like a client for sending commands to COAP servers. So basically the hub. So if you install libcoap, and there's instructions in this tutorial here, so it tells you how to install it.
Yep.
It uses a thing called DTLS, which is basically just like SSL, so it's encryption, and it's actually like the same kind of, it's derived from SSL, but it's called TLS, which is Transport Layer Security, and DTLS is Datagram Transport Layer Security,
Yep.
which is like a variation of TLS for kind of like stripped down devices.
So you just need to install these, because these are what you're going to use to
Yep.
wrap up your commands.
The tricky thing is that libcoap needs to be compiled differently with support for DTLS, but the commands that are listed down there, that side.
Didn't you post something on Twitter that the guy precompiled an ARM HF?
Yeah, so he's now got a
Precompiled binary.
precompiled binary for
Try it?
with the DTLS. I've not tried it yet.
Yeah.
So
I will next week.
yeah, basically install that, set your lights up.
API endpoints, so these are
Yep.
the web pages you call.
Exactly. So, so the one at the top here, you can see it's got a URL which is coaps // and then the IP address of your hub, and then it's got 5684, which is just the port that it runs on.
Yep.
And then
001.
15,001 is the endpoint for the individual bulbs. 15,004 is the endpoint for the group of bulbs. So if you want to control them as a group, you go to 15,004.
And then the one after that?
Each bulb has a number, and they all start at 65537, and then your second bulb will be 65538, and so on.
Okay.
And then once you've got that endpoint, you have to pass it what's called a payload, and that's basically just the kind of request that you want to make.
So this is just a bunch of JSON, is it?
Yeah, it's kind of like JSON. It's like I say, it's like a RESTful type API.
So anyone who doesn't know what JSON is, it's just kind of human-readable text.
Yep.
That's handy for JavaScript.
Yeah,
and other things.
JavaScript Object Notation, I believe it stands for.
Mhm.
So it's really complicated, all of this, but you can read up on it. 3311 is the code for a dimmer. So basically that's telling it that it's pretending that you're a remote, essentially. And then 5850 is the command for on and off. And you pass that either 0 or 1, with 0 being off and 1 being on. So let's actually try that.
Okay.
Can we get the...
Do you want the pie big? The pie's in the corner, but that's going to be a bit small, so
yeah, that's tiny.
we'll make it big, and we'll make us small.
Right, so if
There
I
we
do COAP...
Oh, hang on.
client,
So you're going to have to take away the tutorial, otherwise people won't see it.
yeah,
So you got a pie, you've done the first few steps.
yeah. So if I do COAP client minus... Just bear with me while I type all this in, because it's quite a lot. Oh, this...
Yeah, should totally have changed the resolution. Never mind. Not enough hours in the day.
I should have run this command so I had it in the history and I could just have pressed up. Oh, crikey. The easier way to do this is there's actually a Python library, and it's much easier to...
We're going to show that in a bit, aren't we?
Yeah,
So I was trying to get it so we can actually read your text here.
okay. Problem is
Which isn't helping while
Yeah.
you're trying to type. There we go.
Minus E, and then single. So that's,
Spare the pirates.
I can't. Okay.
Watch us type on the internet.
The added complication is this keyboard is not in the correct.
Oh, it's amazing. All these keyboards, they all have their little quirks, don't they?
Spanish or something.
It's
So you're calling COAP client, which is just a command line executable.
yeah.
You're saying put. You've got client identity as the user, and you've got the key, which is an environment flag called IKEA key,
Exactly.
which
Yeah.
has really secret information. We've shown on camera already.
Yeah, we've
earlier
shown
in
it
the
already.
stream.
This is the safe way to do it. To basically, well, I mean, it's still not safe because you're storing the. Oh, I've totally typed that wrong.
5850.
5850. That's Paul.
So you are
Paul distracted me
I know, yeah.
by talking while I'm.
What's 3 plus 7, Sandy?
9.
What do kittens taste like?
No,
I
we're
can
almost
actually
we're almost
put
there.
Back on the...
Oops. Colon // dollar IKEA IP.
Yeah, this is us doing things the long way, but it's just to show you what the raw stuff happening.
4.
I think we've got people live. Yeah, you've misspelled identity earlier on. So I'll put it here as well for you, Sandy. There you go.
Thanks.
And you don't need to read the screen.
/65537. There we go.
Cool.
So now we just need to go back and change the.
Do.
The other really confusing thing is that the TV monitor that we have in here has a lag on it of about 2 seconds. So when you're typing, you have to wait a couple of seconds to see what's actually come
Cool.
up.
So you feeling lucky?
Yeah, let's try it.
Is this going to switch?
Yay!
Whoa!
Hooray!
Stuff happened.
Wow, amazing.
That's amazing.
Let's actually get that in. Right, so if I do that again and I switch out the one for a 0
Yeah.
now, then the light goes off.
Cool.
That's magical.
So that's the pie on the table in front of us here. You can just see it at the front there.
yeah. Oh, it was the pie on the table.
No, it's back. It's okay.
back.
It's just a loose cable.
Right, okay.
It's all right.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's the hard way of doing things. The easy way of doing it is there is.
It's ask someone else to
It's
type. It's ask someone else to type.
Yeah.
That's the easy way.
Right, let's try the correct keyboard.
It's hacker's law.
Oh my god.
If you have X plus 1 where X is 1 or higher keyboards on the table,
Right.
you've got a 99% chance of choosing the wrong one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a Python library that is written by a chap whose name I can't recall, because we should give him a shout out because it's quite nice.
Okay.
Harold van der Laan, who is H van der Laan on Twitter
Yep.
and GitHub, has written some Python code that basically does all of the communication with the COAP client. And saves you all the kind of hassle of typing all that mumbo jumbo in.
Yep.
Basically, you have a config file that has the IP address and the key in it.
Is there? Really? You wouldn't want to push that to a GitHub though, right?
No. I would never do a thing like that.
No.
Yeah, so it gives you 3 different scripts. One of them is TRÅDFRI status.py. So we'll run that one now. To see what it does. So let's run that. So it says, if it's meant to say acquiring, I've actually forked this library and kind of tweaked a few things. So the link that's in the tutorial is actually my forked version of the library. So you can see what it's done is it's scanned through the hub, and it's basically told us what told us there's two bulbs connected. One of them is 65537, the other 65538.
Yeah. These
Okay.
numbers actually are always fixed. The first one is always the one down, and then it goes one up. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you mentioned that, but you can link up to 10 to each remote, but I mean, obviously you can have more in your network with just a single gateway.
Okay.
But still, on the network, these numbers will be fixed in every network.
Yep.
We start at whatever,
So
37, and
It's significant that they are 65536 plus 1, right?
of course,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suspect so.
Cool.
The confusing thing is the group ID, which is below, is not fixed. So,
Okay.
you know, two people will have a different group ID, even if they just have like two bulbs in a group. That group ID is not fixed. So that's why this script is handy, because you can run it and then get the group ID from it.
Cool.
So you'll see it says the brightness is 254. Even though it's switched off, it retains what the last known brightness
Settings
level
was.
was.
Yep.
And it says that it's off. So if I switch them on now and then run that again, it'll do the same, but
brightness.
it tells us that they're now,
Status.
they're now on.
Yep. Okay.
And also that the group's
And
on
if you
as well.
just take the brightness down and rerun it, then you'll see that 254 will just basically be whatever it is.
Yeah, let's do that. So that's quite nice.
Okay. Yep.
So the useful one, or I mean that's useful. The
interesting one.
The interesting ones are the TRÅDFRI lights and TRÅDFRI groups ones. Now, let me see if I can remember what the command is. Right, so let's actually do the groups one. So that's the name of the script, and then you pass it -G, and then the group ID, which is 155563, and then you tell it -A, which is the kind of parameter that you want to control, and let's say power, and then -V, which is the value that you're passing to that parameter.
So attribute and value, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So I've done on there. Obviously they're on already. Let's switch them off.
Cool.
And then run that again, and they've come back on.
Can you put an overlay at the top, or?
Yeah, it'll break things. We'll just
Oh,
move
right.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
just have the
I've
code for
taken this
now.
off so people can see what we
Yeah.
actually did.
So then if we,
You're going to edit that to be...
I'll switch them off now, and I'll
Okay.
change that to be 65537, and change the minus. If you're using the TRÅDFRI lights one, then you change -G for -L.
Yeah. So you're controlling the bulb now rather than the
Exactly,
group, right?
yeah. So this is controlling the individual bulbs. So if we do TRÅDFRI lights.py, then that light comes on. And if we're to do 65538, then the other one comes on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite straightforward.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's that. The nice thing about this is that you can pull bits rather than using these scripts that are kind of pre-configured. You can actually use all of the stuff that Harold has written in your own Python code. So what I've done is I have in the tutorial there is an example at the end of it about how to use EnviroFat to control to kind of trigger the lights on and off based upon the ambient light level. Let's have a look at the codes that I've written for this. So these are in my forked version of the library as well. I think I added them to it. I can't quite remember if I did.
Okay. So that's shortcode. You won't be able to see the top of it because I did nasty things.
Oh right, okay.
Hang on, let me see if I can fix that. There you go.
Yeah.
It's small now, but
It's still.
there you go.
Oh, there we go. So I've imported a few things at the top of it. I have parsed the configuration file to get the IP address and the key. Then I've got basically a function to switch the lights on or off.
Yep.
The neat way to do that would be to have a single function that's like a toggle and then pass in a value to it. But I thought this was like more kind of transparent for the tutorial to do it this way. And then we've basically just got a while loop that is saying if the light level is less than 500 lumens and the state is not on, then switch it on and change the state to on. Otherwise, if the light level's greater than or equal to 500 lumens and the state is on, then switch it off and change the state to off.
Okay.
With a small delay in it, just to kind of stop it from... Basically, if you send requests too quickly, then they'll kind of pile up and they won't all get through. So if you add a small delay in, and it's a bit kind of like hand-wavy as to what that might be, but I just picked like a 20th of a second because it seemed to work quite nicely.
Okay.
So let's run that script. Very fit. So that's now running. So
Hey.
there we go. So what I've done is I've covered up the light sensor on EnviroFat there, and if I uncover it again, then
I was going to use my
Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening.
Nothing's
Shine a light on
happening.
it.
hang on, try doing it again. Oh no!
Go on, shine a light on it. I'm really surprised if it's not above 500 lumens here, though.
Yeah, it must be. Oh, live demos.
Yeah.
With that, but I
It
don't
half
think
worked.
I'll run it again.
No, it doesn't.
No, it's perfectly dark, isn't it? It's just a light bit it's not doing. Why would it not do that? You've had it working, Sandy. What's happened?
Maybe it's. I wonder if the light's actually getting through my hand, or like round the side of it, maybe.
Right. Well, no, when your hand's off, it thinks it's too dark still, right?
Anyway, it was
Yeah.
working very nicely.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah. You can print out a value. I mean, not right now. But
Let's
yeah.
give it a second. Right. No.
Oh,
Anyway.
maybe we just shorted out the light sensor, so now it's just, yeah.
Maybe it's just horribly broken now. Oh, light switched on.
There we
Light
go.
switched off. Whee!
There
Cool.
you go.
So there's no reason why that wasn't particularly working.
Lights
it was just
on. Lights
having
off.
a bit of a moan.
Yeah,
Cool. Okay.
just gremlins.
Hey.
So that's that one.
So how do people get this? It's linked in the demo, is it? It's linked in the tutorial?
Yeah, that bit's in the tutorial. The other one that I've done is, and I'll probably have to shut this down. Well, I'll just try it anyway. I'm pretty sure it'll reboot the Pi
No,
when
it
I,
should be all right. The
when I
cap will be
switch
fine.
the
Let's see. Do you get lucky?
Yeah, the Pi Zero's a bit precious about.
The
Plug
Zero
in
W
the-
is a lot better.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
actually,
it should be
it's-
all right.
yeah.
The cap doesn't really just.
There we go.
The Zero W, they added an inductor rather than just a capacitor.
So the other one that I've done is using TouchFat. So TouchFat is our board that has capacitive touch buttons on it with LEDs. So what I've done with this is A and B are on and off. So let's press A and the lights come on, and then B and the lights go back off again.
Yep.
A, B, and then the enter and the back buttons are the brightness. So if I
Wow.
if I press back, then it should jump in tens from 100% all the way down to
It's nice and responsive.
0%.
That's actually a nice system.
Yeah, the kind of bottleneck is basically the speed of the hub responding to the requests.
Yep.
And it's probably my finger that's not quite. Let's try going back up again.
Licky
think-
finger. Oh, it's
Yep.
kind of stuck there, isn't it?
Yeah, the other thing that affects it is how much traffic you have on your network, obviously, because it has to kind of fight with all of the other things that are going on.
Okay, so that's just waiting for
Yeah, it seems
the call to the server to finish, is it?
Yeah. Right, okay, so it's back up again. Right,
Cool.
let's try going. Yeah. There we go, so that's going in the opposite direction.
That's got to 0.
So we've gone from 100 to 0 to 10, to 20. So there we go. It's working now.
So there's just a bit of loss of connectivity there. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the kind of thing that you can do with it.
Do you want to show us that Python code, just so you can see how you set that up?
Yeah, let's look at that.
Because I like seeing how this is done.
I think you misspelled. Oh, you're using less.
I'm using
okay.
less this time, just because.
You misspelled nano as less.
That's okay then.
So basically, we've got the way the TouchFat library works is with Python decorators, which are basically just ways of like hooking a function to another function, essentially.
Okay.
So basically, you just add a decorator above your like switch on and switch off functions, linking it to one of the buttons on TouchFat. So we'll probably do a separate tutorial on this one because it's quite a nice way of controlling the lights.
Well, it's more about interfacing and things, isn't it?
And it's probably a fair bit cheaper than actually buying a remote as well.
Actually, talking about that, I haven't tried myself. As you do, I did try on demo, but you can actually convert to some. I mean, let's use the word convert a remote into a gateway. So it is possible to actually.
Really?
There's a tutorial. I think it was Make Germany that kind of hacked all these stuff, and they basically had an ESP82. Whatever it is,
86.
Basically just going into the pins, which is something I'm going to show with my stuff later on, and the ESP was basically transmitting. So it is actually possible to hack even one of those. To be honest, I don't really see much point because these are 15 quid and these are 25 quid, so I don't know if it's really worth the effort.
I mean, there are
but
pricing.
for hacking, just value, it's quite nice. I'll try to find the link and put it on the YouTube later on if anyone wants to try that. And convert that into a
gateway.
A gateway. Like I said, I did try with a dimmer and failed miserably. And I don't think it's an easy hack if possible at all. But that would make
it's kind of high level.
There would be a point there because then you can get them for £5, or at least if you sell on they come with a bulb. So they cost 15 quid, and that's a bulb plus a dimmer. So if you were able to sell on the bulb, these would be really cheap if they could be converted into a.
It's got a chip in, so why not?
Yeah.
So you got one more.
Yes, I did try for about 8 hours. So.
Yeah.
So the
one more demo.
Yeah, the final thing is there's actually a way to get this working with HomeKit on the iPhone. So HomeKit is Apple's set of APIs for controlling like smart devices in your home, like things like Nest thermostats, Philips Hue bulbs, all that kind of thing. The problem is they only support a limited number of devices, but luckily someone's written a Node.js library called HomeBridge, which basically just like emulates a HomeKit device. And allows you to kind of add your own plugins for other devices. So someone has written one of these for the TRÅDFRI lights. I can't recall the name of the person that wrote that one.
We'll find a link later.
Well, we'll link it in the description after. So basically, what you do is you install HomeBridge with the Node package manager. Then install the HomeBridge TRÅDFRI plugin, then do a bit of configuration for it. There's instructions on the HomeBridge-TRÅDFRI GitHub repo about how to do that. Can we get the close-up?
Yeah.
I see that actually someone has linked in the chat the thing I was talking about, the hacking of the remote.
So this is the Home app on iPhone. So if we do add accessory. Hope this is going to work. There we go.
Hey, HomeBridge.
So you can see it's come up with HomeBridge, so let's select that. And it'll say it's not certified, but you just click Add Anyway. You can either scan the code that appears in the terminal, which you might have seen came up when I started HomeBridge, or you can just...
Do you want the code?
I think is it 031?
031
45155. Yeah.
That's the one, yeah.
Um, so
Pairing.
yeah, pairing home bridge. Blah blah blah. Come on. Yeah, sometimes takes up to about 10 seconds to do this.
Okay.
When it's paired, what it'll do is it should kind of identify the devices that are, there we go, it's been added. So then you just say next, then you can see it says could not complete operation, just ignore that. Then you can see it says it's identified a white spectrum bulb. So let's just say next to add that, and then it'll give you a warning again, just ignore that, and then done. So now what it's done is it's added the 2 bulbs. Now this was being a little bit flaky earlier on and
Not updating.
not updating.
So it's enumerated them, but then controlling them is a little bit dicey at the moment.
Again, I think it's just our network because there's a lot of traffic on it.
Yep.
Maybe if I quit the app actually and go back in, it might kick in.
Cool.
No.
Mike Hole has recommended Home Assistant as well. It says it's getting support for it.
Yep.
Home Assistant is kind of a whole home automation thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So what I've done is I've just killed HomeBridge and I'm restarting it now, just to see if they pop back up.
Oh, this is tense.
Yeah.
I can see stuff happening.
Yeah.
Something's happening. Something's happening.
Come on.
Can you click on them anyway? Can we poke them? Will it help?
Oh, there we go. Boom.
I was actually kidding, but yeah.
There we go. So that's, yay. There we go. Nice. So you can see it's got the 2 separate bulbs, and I can toggle them on and off.
Wow. Yeah.
You can press and hold, and then you can you can fade up and down the brightness. So yeah, it's really nice. The good thing about this is it lets you automate everything. So you could like set your lights to come on at a particular time at night, which could actually be sunrise, and then go off again at sunset. Things like that.
Okay.
You can link them with other HomeKit devices as well. So you could have them like. You could do something stupid like have them come on when your Nest thermostat reaches a particular temperature. Or
You can start linking up all the nodes and
Yeah,
endpoints and
yeah,
just making them
yeah.
do things with each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah,
That's
so that's
amazing.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brilliant.
So Rogue, what have you done?
Have we got time for this?
Yeah, we can do it quickly.
This
yeah.
is the internet. We can take as long as we like.
It's true, it's true.
Yeah. Cool. So you've been
Yeah.
hacking at something, yeah?
Yeah, this one was a sort of a Easter hack that I didn't plan to spend a full weekend on, but one thing led to another.
It was Easter weekend. You had an extra couple of days that you had nothing to do with whatsoever.
Well, I should have been doing something else, but
Yeah.
yeah, my partner's not too happy, but never mind.
Oh, no. Right.
Right.
I'm going to bring the close up big, and we can be small.
So what is this?
It is in the range, the IKEA range. It's called Floalt, FLOALT. So it's part of the same range. The actual
So instead of
remote and
bulbs-
that's called TRÅDFRI.
Trad-free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's part of the same range. It just adds a specific name. In fact, they have different sizes. This is a 30 by 30.
So these are light panels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is a light panel. If I can switch it around.
Oh, things are falling off it.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't touch your
sorry.
life. It's
Really?
so,
Oh my
so,
God.
so it is.
Oh my god.
So it is lit up
Scary.
at the moment. Okay. So it is a light panel. It's a
Yeah.
30 by 30. They also got 60 by 60. They got 1 meter by 30. Well, anyway, and they all got distinct name. This is a Floalt, whatever.
Please don't die, Rogue.
Yes,
So-
don't
so-
die. Yeah.
So this is live, is it?
This is live. Yeah, yeah.
So if I touch it,
You actually scared me.
We needed someone, on
Yeah.
Bilge Tank to die live.
I'm
Yeah.
the
And he
first.
volunteered.
I'm the first aider as well.
Let's not joke about that. But actually, this is
It's
this
not too bad.
this side is the dangerous bit.
Yeah.
This
Don't-
is the actual.
Don't
okay.
try this at home.
This is the actual chip. So that's the EFR32 that, like I said, you will find in all of these, including the bulbs, if you disassemble one. And what I'm actually doing is that I fit a connector so I could read the voltage on the actual breakout
Yep.
for the FR32. And essentially, I have these going into an automation FAT, and I'm reading basically these pins. There's actually only 2 out of the 3 that are linked there that have valuable data, but since I had a connector, I just thought, why not?
Yep.
But it's essentially the yellow will reflect the voltage on the pin controlling the 4000 Kelvin,
Yep.
and the blue one will reflect the voltage controlling the 2200.
Okay.
So essentially I'm reading this, and the code is not finished yet, but I've also got a relay, of course, on the automation FAT, which I'm planning to program to switch off the light,
Yep.
the internal light, and only use basically the actual mode.
Okay.
In fact, at the moment I'm using external mode, but I'm actually hacking. I'll show you in a minute. I've got a stick inside. That's really a tight fit. I need to make some more modification to be able to connect it. So the stick is in there, but I can't connect it at the moment. But I will be able to. And my hope is that the diffuser will work as well as the actual built-in lens.
Because they're like nice light panels. They look like good light boxes, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you put your X-rays on top of them,
So
and you
how-
get a gentle glow.
So
glow through.
essentially, I have these things. So you've seen Sandy demonstrating the remote. Essentially, I'm doing the same thing. So I'm controlling the LED panel with the remote. But what I'm doing here is that actually I'm reading the actual voltage directly onto the chip and making the Pi do something with that values.
Okay.
So if I do this, it should, in a second, change to a different color.
So this is a different way of hacking
and,
it.
Yeah, and there's a third one, but at the moment it does disco. Actually, it's sort of, can you see it? It goes from blue to green. But anyway, you can't really see it in these lights.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
Oh,
so,
there we go. Now it's changing. Now I see it.
So the idea is that I will have 3 modes, and one of them will be the built-in light, in natural light.
Yep.
And then I'll have the mode in there that controls in 2 different, whatever I want to program.
Yep.
It could be, changing all the time, or a rainbow, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'm just, showing the concept.
I was watching you gesticulating near the live wires.
So yeah. So essentially, at the moment, like you saw earlier on, the built-in light
Do you want me to toggle it if you hold it up?
is, if you toggle it, I don't think it will work that well though, because the code doesn't really know how to cope with that at the moment.
But
Hey,
you can
that's
see
awesome.
you can see the color temperature changing.
Yeah. And the mode changes as well, although you can't really see it possibly.
Yeah, that was cool. So this is a different way of hacking it.
but
This
yeah,
is
so-
you've hacked into the
So
signals.
the idea is that I will use the relay to actually switch off the. It's
The
a 24
24
volts, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is 24 volt tolerance. So I've got it coming in, going out. At the moment, I don't have any code to switch on the relay, but that's the idea, that I will switch back from internal auto mode with 2 different kind of scenes.
Yeah.
That's the idea. So I'm going to switch that off so nobody dies, and then I'm going to open it for you. If that's okay.
Yeah.
If you want to see what's inside,
Well, yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, there's capacitors. So
Yeah, just don't touch the caps.
No, I'm going to turn it off.
I'm going to see Big Clive watching this at home now, just going, "Oh my!"
They'll still be charged up though, won't they?
Yeah, I might as well actually take the Pi
take
off
the
as
Pi off
well,
as well.
really. Doesn't really matter for the Pi, but I'm not going to be using it
So,
again.
yeah, so I think the idea is you can use these light panels either kind of on your wall as a kind of
Yeah,
architectural
or you can
lighting.
actually just
Yeah.
build a full ceiling with them. That's
Yeah.
why they're 30 by 30, which is a standard size for paneling
It's
for
got to
ceilings.
fit the pitch of a lot of
Yeah.
ceiling panels. Yeah.
They work out fairly expensive though, so if you wanted more than 4 in a room, that'd be pretty expensive.
like 50 quid each, are they something?
They're 55 coming with the remote. Unfortunately, you can't get them without the remote, which is a bit of a shame at the moment, anyway. But I assume they're going to be available by themselves because obviously they've built these things where you could have multiple, and you don't need a remote for each. As I said earlier on, you can, so disregarding this hack, you can link up to 10 bulb or panel
Yeah. With a single.
with a single remote. So it would make sense for them to sell them by themselves.
Cool.
Okay, so what I wanted to show you here is what I like actually is that you can actually route back the power and link the special cable to put them in series.
Okay.
So you
So
can,
if you want 3 in a row.
you can power them from a single main,
Yeah.
which is kind of nice,
Yeah.
I think. So here I've actually hacked the opening of it so you could see, but going back to the board, this is the part I hacked in.
Yeah, don't touch the caps.
So it's off. Yeah, I noticed the caps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all right. Do you want to put your tongue on it? Then I'm fine.
Then they're discharged. Yeah.
Then I'm fine.
We hold this in one hand. We put one hand behind
Yeah.
the back, and we go. Tsh.
So this is the FR32, and these pins on that side basically from, is it the top? Yeah, the top, that'd be basically a 3 volt. That's the VCC.
Yep.
Then you have a ground
Do you want
pin.
to zoom in a bit on that?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Let's get closer. Cool.
there we go.
Okay.
That's more like it.
Actually.
So this is a connector you've hacked in there.
Yes. So I've just literally put a connector at a right angle onto the pin. That's what
Wow.
it is. The top one, of course, I've made some measurements before. It's not random, so I know that the top one basically had nothing really of interest
Yep.
for me. And I thought, well, I might as well hack the 3 volt just in case I need it for something.
Yep.
So I have the 3 volt, the ground. Then that one isn't used. That one.
Yep.
And then that one, if I remember right, is controlling the 2200, and then that one is controlling the 4000
Okay.
Kelvin.
Yep.
Hertz. So that's what it is. So I'm just taking that out, just reading the value as I've explained.
So is that digital or analog?
This is analog, yeah,
Yeah,
of course, yeah. You get a reading between 0 and 3 volt basically on these pins, and you can distinguish between the modes or whatever. It's
So could you actually could you switch them on and off to control the...
Well, theoretically, I suppose so. However, you're going to have a voltage fighting, so I don't know if you'd be like destroying the chip.
Yep.
But technically, yes, I suppose that you could feed and control it through, feeding voltage through it.
Yep.
You could control it rather than using this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You're reading the analog voltage through the automation FAT.
yes.
Yep.
Going the other way around, I don't actually know whether you damage the chip, but obviously you'd have you'd be feeding voltage from the outside.
Yep.
So I'm not really sure.
Not the best idea, maybe. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it had no real value for me doing it that way, so I haven't really considered that. And at 55 quid, I don't think I'll try. But you're welcome to buy your own and try it. Okay, so
I'll get Paul to buy one.
yeah, so let's have a look at what's inside. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to show with the board. The rest of the board
Cool.
This is quite
is
funny,
no
isn't it?
great interest. Actually, you can see here that it's actually marked. So you have you have a common cathode, right? And then you have a separate anode for the temperature. So
Yep.
the 2200 4000, and these are 24 volt. So that's why I'm feeding into.
So that would be where you would switch it then. That would be a better place to switch it. You could snip that connection there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then, then route it through the automation FAT and then back in there to kind of switch them.
But that's what I'm doing,
So-
right? What do you mean?
Oh no, if you wanted to put a variable, well,
I'd need
Are they
three relays, and
PWM?
2 relays, you mean? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now here I'm literally just taking the cathode and just interrupting. So I'm actually just or that's the plan, switching off both types of light. But yes, I guess that with more relays I could do it on the,
Oh,
on the
could
anodes,
you
yeah?
could you sync through the Darlington?
Could I sing? I'll ask Phil.
Sync.
Sing. Yeah, I can
Let me
sing.
sync.
Not like...
Yeah. Phil will tell
Right.
us now why that's a really bad
So-
idea.
Right. So that's what
Anyway, we wanted to look
see with
inside,
that.
didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is quite funny, actually.
So I have to go very sort of careful, and I'm
Okay, now we just have grey. Let's zoom out a bit.
Yeah.
Use your third hand rope.
Oh, wrong way.
Hey.
Oh, there we are.
Ta-da! That was like a really boring episode of What Is It?
Right. So actually, if you take us out for now, maybe,
Okay,
because it's going to
we're
be
going to take us
difficult
out.
otherwise.
There we go.
So essentially, what you have here is so that's the connection. These are the anodes, and that's the common cathode.
At the
Right.
bottom
You
edge,
can't see
yeah.
it. You can't see it yet.
Zoom out for
Yeah,
that.
zoom a bit more.
Oh,
Zoom
wrong.
out.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Thank you. Yeah, that's
That's
fine. Yeah.
better. Cool.
So you have the anodes, one for each type of LEDs.
Yep.
And then you have the common cathode on that side. And then you have a strip of LEDs, which maybe I can get you to see it
Just-
in a
just
moment.
one
I'm going to
strip.
try anyway. It's just a one strip with alternating, basically, LEDs of each
Okay.
type.
So the same as the bulb, but in a straight line, basically.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
So that's what it is. And then on the other side, we're going to come to it. If I can manage to remove the diffuser, you can see there's actually a mode strip there. So that's my work in progress at the moment. I fitted that. I managed to kind of made a small what do you call a small dip
Indent.
No,
Yeah.
indent,
Notch.
yes, for the connectors. But I still have to do a bigger one for the actual connectors. And then the plan is that I will get the cable out from this corner.
You could just solder. You could snip the end off.
Yes, I could do as well.
And solder straight.
I
so
could
it might,
do-
Might be an easier way to do it.
Yeah, I mean it will be a bit more fragile though because it's kind of, but then again I probably
Hot glue.
I was going to say I'm not going to go into that thing every 2 minutes, but I probably will. That's the problem. So
just
I
get,
want something
just
a
get
bit
a glue gun and just cover everything in hot glue.
Right,
That's the
yes.
way to do it. Strain relief.
right. So I'm going to get it out. Sorry, I'm
Do you want me
talking
to-
about the diffuser here, obviously.
More spudgers.
It's a family show.
It's a family show, yeah. So that's the diffuser.
It's just a big
Um,
bit of plexi, is it?
Yeah.
You can't really see
It's got like a
on
honeycomb.
screen. There's kind of a
Ah.
sort of dotted pattern on the side that's the reflector.
So
I
that
don't
will-
think we'll get it to
Wonder if
show on
they've-
screen
have they etched
really.
that? Well, they've laser etched that.
Do you want to look at
'cause I
it?
think
Looks like it's.
that'll probably be kind of what do you call it, emitter.
Or maybe it's on the backing paper stuff that's stuck on it.
Yeah, but that'll be kind of excited emitted stuff,
Can we
like
shine a
the
light on
LEDs
it?
themselves.
Let's
Do you want to see? Let's get us up again.
don't know.
Hmm.
It does light up quite nicely, actually.
Yeah. So there'll either be retro reflectors or there will be I forgot what you call.
It's quite cool.
It's the stuff where you shine the light on it and it re-shines it, re-emits. Phosphor.
Nice.
It might be some kind of phosphor. I don't know. It would explain the cost. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the diffuser bit, which, looking at it, I believe I should be in luck. It should actually diffuse from the other side as
Yeah.
well. The actual stick, the mode stick, comes pretty much at the same sort of angle or depth.
Height.
Height. So I think I should be okay.
You're gonna
But
get
at the
lucky.
moment, I haven't got far enough to see if an internal stick is viable. It should be.
Okay.
We can always laser cut a new one.
Yeah, we could do that. So if we go back to the close up, actually I probably can turn it round so we can still be in.
So
Yeah.
that's the LEDs.
So let me see if I can.
I'll zoom in.
Let me just put it up.
There we go.
Ooh.
There you go. So what you have there is that you have two types of LEDs. I think you can see they sort of have a different sort of aspect to
You can
them.
clearly see the difference in colour.
Yeah.
It's going to get really close just so we can see. Oh, there we go. Nice.
Yeah.
Parts labelled very clearly.
So that's it. So
Oh,
that's nothing on that side has been kind of hacked in any way.
Yeah.
The only thing I've done actually is that the cables were running inside, and I wanted them outside to be able to route. But that's the only thing that I've done with this thing.
Yep.
Internally, and on the other side, like you've seen, starting fiddling with a mode stick.
Yep.
But yeah. I'm working in parallel
You're still-
with the hardware and the software side at the moment.
It's projects in progress.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
it's taken quite a while, but I'm really enjoying this one. It must be the risk of the 220.
Yeah, yeah.
But
don't
yeah,
think I would do
so that's the hack. I'm surprised actually I could even do a live demo, because
Well,
actually
the thing is, you're not touching the mains as such, are you? They're exposed while you're working on it, but you're working with the 24 volts.
well, to be honest, I don't really need that thing open. I've only opened it for here anyway.
So we can look,
otherwise, I have the
shield. Yeah.
Obviously, you have. I made a small hack for this one, which is normally the. Where is it? Flick it back up. Normally, this thing, you basically have screws on the bottom. So to avoid doing that, I just put some nylon screws, and then I just drilled in there. So it's actually quite. So I've got access from the top. But when I work, obviously, I have it, locked up, and that's fine. So really, I'm not taking that much risk. That's what I mean. Don't be afraid. I'll be still alive.
We'll be slightly afraid of mains, but not
unless I throttle.
learn what you're doing, then mess with mains. You know what you're doing. You've done sound engineering.
Oh yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah. You come into mains doing that a lot more than you really should.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And yes, I'm probably going to be sticking some external stick as well, so I can have either the diffusing one, or I can have something with
shining on the walls around
on
it.
the outside. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Totally blinged.
As you can see, I've got a mode here. I'm actually really surprised that we could do a live demo that half worked, or actually worked, for some reason, because I had a mode fat throughout the entire testing last weekend, and then I came here with this thing, and I realized that I had swapped to a mode, so I had to change the code. But anyway, yes, so I have this thing. The reason why I switched to a mode is mostly because I could power it, if necessary, from an outside source. That's the other thing I want to do as well. Is just I want to try to power the Pi through the main. So I kind of need to have a plan for that. Which
you realise Pi's only take 5 volts.
Yes.
220 volts is too much.
There will be something in between.
Well,
like a finger or two.
The thing is, we've got the DC input shim coming soon.
All right, yeah.
That only goes up to 17 volts though, so that
17. That's 6 better than 11 then.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But it doesn't mean it means you can't power off the 24 volt line. Still, it's not quite wide enough.
No, but I'm only really looking for a solution right now for the Pi.
Yep.
It's just. Yeah, I mean there is kind of a 3 volt there which I could just tap up from, but the problem is that this chip, I think, can only maximum supply 50 milliamp.
That's probably not.
That's not going to work. I tried though.
Yeah, that'd be cool. What you could do is you could just get the official Pi power supply, take the faceplate off, and then you've got the 2 mains contacts. So you just put those on the brown and the blue wires.
The pinkies should be fine to stick on those, totally. Right?
Yeah. Don't do that at home, kids.
But anyway, so very excited about this one. Possibly get it on my cellar at some point.
That's a much more in-depth hack. It's amazing. Cool.
Yeah, one thing led to another.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right, so we'll stop geeking out quite so much now. And Sandy, you have one more thing to talk about this week, which is the pirate radio.
Yeah, I've actually got 2 quick things. One thing that I forgot is with the colour temperature, I've actually written a little Python script that basically cycles through all of the different colour temperatures. Oh, that's not the right one, that's the other one.
Is that the disco one?
Oh, here we go. It's a bit jerky at the moment. I might have to kill it and start it again a few times.
Ooh.
There we go, so you can see it's going from warm to cool.
Normal person? Go on, run it again. I want to make my political joke. Trump. Normal person. Trump. It's a cheap joke, but I had to make it. Yeah.
You had to deliver.
Yeah.
So the remote only lets you cycle through the 3 different colour temperatures, kind of presets, but you can actually get any value on that whole range that you want.
Yeah.
So it's kind of really hackable. Cool. So the other thing is pirate radio. has had a very slight revamp.
It's back in stock now, isn't it?
Yep, back in stock.
Briefly.
Yeah, it may or may not be. It may
I
have
think
gone
it
out
was.
of stock again.
I think it did,
I'm
yeah.
not sure. Anyway,
People have been waiting for them. Oh, getting boards has just been...
Can we get the tablet up?
Yep.
Yep, cool. So the tweak is basically that it's to make it fit in the box better. It's quite a tight fit in the box, and the packing team downstairs have had
It's a good reason, really.
they've
As any.
they've had a bit of a hard time fitting everything into the box.
Yep.
So they said to us, "Can we do anything to make it a little bit smaller and fit in the box better?"
Yep.
So outwardly, from the front, they look identical, but if you turn them round, then you can see that the difference is the original one had the same legs as our LCD display frame,
For the official.
which are clear 6mm perspex and quite long, so they go back quite a long way.
Yep.
The new legs
You
are
mean like a year and a half?
they fit in with the other two kits in that the legs are the same colour as the rest of the bits, basically.
The body, yeah.
So they've now got shorter blue legs that are also kind of like not quite as tall.
There'd be a problem with circulation if they've got blue legs here.
Yeah.
The 2-minute walk every 30 minutes is what we advise.
Cool. Anyway, it doesn't impact the functionality. It's still a beautiful thing.
And basically the back layer has had this bit where the fat sits chopped off.
A little trim.
The tutorial's been updated with instructions for the new bits. It's also got instructions for the old bits as well, so if you've got an old kit that you've not built yet, then you'll still be able to build it.
Cool.
So yeah, so that's that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Come back next week. I think we're intending on being on Thursday again. We'll hope nothing will change that.
It is Thursday. Oh, you mean
Next week. Next week, yeah. It's not Thursday next week yet. We have to wait until Les invents the time machine. Then we can do next week to this week.
Well, he said he was going to be ready next week.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And hack your cheap home automation lights. This is not the way I wanted to end it with a hot halo. Stay breezy, folks, and let us know what you want us to do on Bilge Tankers. We've got plenty of stuff to do, but we like to hear suggestions. Oh, we're going to do the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes at Pimaroni and behind the scenes at Bilge Tank at some point.
Factory tour.
Factory tour. Yeah. I might have something that will help that, actually. More info later.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Thanks for sticking with us. That
See you
was
later.
an epic hack.
Marathon. Yeah.
Yeah. Get yourself a drink, enjoy the weather.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye all.